Okay, council has come back from closed session. There are no reportable actions at this time. Therefore, we will now adjourn the special meeting and we'll adjourn it to the next regular city council meeting, which will be held in about 30 minutes right here at 7 o'clock. This special meeting is adjourned. With the 14th, 2025 meeting has been called to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Alvarez. Here. Councilmember Hamilton.
Here.
Councilmember Salazar.
Here.
Vice Mayor Marty Medina.
Here.
And Mayor Rico Medina.
Here. And if you would, City Clerk,
Yes.
introduce us.
I would like to introduce our new Deputy City Clerk, Alyssa Leonardini, to the team.
Welcome. And now, for those that are able, if you would please rise and join myself and the council in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 4, public comments for items not on the agenda, please.
I have 2 speaker cards. With the following individuals, please approach the podium. Karen Quealy and Sedana Traxter.
Please come to the podium.
Oh, now it's on. Okay. My question and comment is about the upcoming events on Saturday for the No Kings protests across the country, across the nation, across our state. And I will be attending one.
I found this on the web.
Oh,
Saturday.
I'm sorry.
Test across the country.
I was
Check it out.
Siri's trying to take over. So I'm going to go to the one in San Francisco with a couple of friends. And the last time that I went, I took the BART and I got off at, San Bruno, and I walked through the avenue, and I found a whole group of people were there at Centennial Plaza, and they had signs, and people were honking horns as they went by. And I wondered if there's any organized effort or sponsoring effort by the city of San Bruno to support the people that are engaging in the No Kings protest on Saturday. I know there may be people of many different political views at this point, but I think it's important that people across our country have the freedom of speech, and I fear for retaliation against people that are standing up to protest. So I rise to just ask a question about that.
Okay, thank you. And staff can reach out to you. Thank you very much for being here.
Good evening, Mayor Medina, council member, and city staff. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Sedana Traxler. I'm a business owner at Twice as Nice, as well as the president of the San Bruno Improvement Group. I just wanted to come here tonight to invite you all downtown this Saturday to our downtown trick-or-treat event. It's happening from 3 to 6 p.m. along San Mateo Avenue. There'll be live music at Centennial, face painting for the kids, and over 50 merchants handing out candy. Each year, this event gets bigger and better, and we're so proud to see our community come together. I'd like to give a special thanks to the San Bruno Community Foundation for awarding the San Bruno Improvement Group with the grant that allows us to grow and scale our events each year. We have a couple other sponsors, the Rotary Club, the San Bruno Police Department, Artichoke Joe's Therapy Store, and we couldn't be more appreciative for their support. So on behalf of myself, my son, and the trick-or-treaters that will be out there on Saturday, we just hope you would all come down and enjoy the festivities. I can't stay long. It is a school night, but I did notice the mural policy is on tonight's agenda, and I just wanted to say that we are very thrilled and excited for these next steps and for the direction the city is taking to help beautify our downtown. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments.
I have no other speaker cards.
Okay, thank you very much for being here and both of your comments. Let's move on to item 5, announcements and presentations. The first announcement is that the City of San Bruno and Recology invite everyone to join the 29th annual coat drive from October 1st through November 14th to donate new or gently used clean coats at City Hall, the library, the Recreation Aquatic Center, or other city facilities and sites. This is something that was started by former Deputy City Clerk Vicky Hachey, and this is to help keep our community warm this winter. Item B, the statewide special election will be held November 4th, 2025. The vote center is here at this Recreation Aquatic Center. That will be from November 1st through the 4th, downstairs located in the classroom. There are ballot drop-offs outside City Hall on Linden. There's also the San Bruno Senior Center parking lot, and there's also at 3300 College Drive. And for more information, you can certainly contact the San Mateo Elections Division at 650-312-5222. Item C, there is no regular city council meeting on October the 28th. The next regular city council meeting will be held on Wednesday, November the 12th, 2025, here at this location at 7 p.m. Item D, proclamation recognizing October 23rd through the 31st, 2025 as Red Ribbon Week. And we have our lieutenant, and I'll just read a couple of the whereases and ask the lieutenant to step forward. This again is recognizing October 23rd through the 31st as Red Ribbon Week in San Bruno. Whereas Red Ribbon Week will be celebrated in communities across the nation on October 23rd, 2025 through October 31st, 2025. And whereas the San Bruno community further commits to contributing to the success of Red Ribbon Week, now therefore I, Rico E. Medina, Mayor of the City of San Bruno, do hereby proclaim October 23rd through the 31st as Red Ribbon Week and encourage all to participate. And with that, Lieutenant.
Thank you. On behalf of the officers and staff of the San Bruno Police Department, thank you, Mayor and Council, for taking the time to present this important Red Ribbon Week proclamation. Your acknowledgement is a powerful catalyst that helps us mobilize our entire community to educate our youth and promote active participation in vital drug prevention activities. The police department is especially grateful for the partnership we share with the San Bruno Park School District, their dedicated educators, and the local families who have been instrumental in the creation and successful implementation of the Reduce the Impact of Drugs on Families initiative. This collaborative effort is key to ensuring a safer and healthier environment for all of our residents. Thank you once again for your unwavering support of this essential work. Thank you.
Item E, receive presentation regarding the Grand Boulevard Initiative Action Plan.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good to see you again.
Pardon?
Again.
Good to see you. We're all going to get organized here. So good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. My name is Millie Tollison. I'm the Director of Planning at SamTrans, and I'm joined by a few folks, colleagues here, Nick Yee, who's a Senior Planner at SamTrans, Sue Ellen Atkinson, who is our Manager of Fund Management, Policy and Fund Management at the San Mateo County Transportation Authority, as well as, there he is, Jake Buffenbarger with Caltrans District 4 is also here. So tonight we're going to be offering you a brief presentation on the Grand Boulevard Initiative, which is a multi-agency partnership to implement transportation improvements on El Camino Real. And let me get my slide clicker here. Okay, starting with a little bit of background. So if you're not familiar, what is the Grand Boulevard Initiative? The Grand Boulevard Initiative is a partnership. Really, it's a partnership between SamTrans, cities along El Camino Real, other transportation, public agencies, as well as advocates and business groups throughout San Mateo County. And we are, as part of GBI, we are convening a group called the GBI Task Force with the goal of establishing and advancing a unified vision for this critical north-south corridor throughout San Mateo County. For Samtrans, this is a very important initiative. You may be familiar with our route. ECR runs along up and down El Camino Real every 15 minutes, 7 days a week, and it generates a quarter of our daily ridership. So it's a very important route for us. And we know that more than 90% of our riders arrive at our bus stops on El Camino as pedestrians. Our route does face speed and reliability issues, as well as issues around safe access to bus stops, first and last mile connections as well. So we're really striving to build momentum in a coordinated way around transforming and modernizing transportation infrastructure on El Camino. Next slide. Thank you. Oh, uh-oh. Just did too many times. Okay. So, why are we undertaking this work right now? We really feel like it's time to modernize El Camino Real, and GBI presents an opportunity to reimagine the street to really meet the 21st century mobility and safety needs. El Camino Real was designed as a highway and still serves as State Route 82 to move cars and people, but it really has a lot of potential to be a more multimodal corridor. And our goal is to reimagine it to, again, meet those 21st century mobility and safety needs. But we also think that these improvements can go beyond safety and transportation, really enhancing placemaking, making El Camino Real a vibrant destination that people want to spend time, supporting economic vitality. There's opportunities for bringing in elements of sustainability and bringing in infrastructure that can support future development that's planned for the corridor as well. And there's a lot of work that has happened and is ongoing along the corridor from Daly City all the way down to Menlo Park and Palo Alto. Cities, Samtrans, Caltrans, CCAG, and the TA are all involved in various transportation studies of streetscape changes on El Camino. But GBI, I think the value that this forum brings is its ability to bring everyone together to make sure that we're blending local preferred alternatives and designs with each other to make sure that we really have a cohesive corridor at the end of the day. And GBI and its action plan, which is the work that we're doing now, will serve as the blueprint, we believe, for a coordinated process in which individual cities and studies can provide their own preferred design alternatives that could be advanced into the Caltrans process. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in an upcoming slide. But I want to mention that Caltrans is also working on its comprehensive multimodal corridor plan, which Jake is here and will speak a little bit more about at a later slide. Okay, so we are at the point of having a document called the GBI Action Plan, which is the culmination of work completed by the GBI task force and working groups. And we really appreciate that San Bruno staff have been actively participating in these workshops and providing local feedback. The action plan will fulfill Caltrans' requirement to create what they call a feasibility study. And this is really where we start to refine design concepts. We don't make any decisions about the designs for the corridor, but we start to establish the needs for the corridor and that cohesive vision that will tie everyone's projects together. And one of the things that the staff and members of the public and advocates have worked on together is really setting a vision. What is our future vision for El Camino Real? If in 10 years we're successful at reimagining the corridor, what does that look like to everyone who's been participating in this process? And the vision statement that we've drafted as a group is that ideally El Camino Real is a safe and vibrant street where people of all ages and abilities travel comfortably. And we also took a data-driven approach to identifying the priority problems on the corridor and then translating those into our goals. So we identified 3 priority problems to tackle. The first one is that El Camino Real does have an unusually high rate of fatal or serious injury crashes, particularly for people walking and biking. So our goal moving forward is to adopt a safety-first mindset to eliminate fatal and serious injury crashes on the corridor. The second problem is that El Camino Real's current highway-like design discourages walking, biking, and transit use. So our goal is to transform El Camino into a complete street that works for all users. And lastly, we heard a lot about the process and that it's just too challenging today for individual cities to develop, implement, and fund transportation projects on El Camino. So we're proposing to create this new coordinated collaborative framework through GBI that would align our vision, our process, and bring together funding for the whole corridor. So this slide just has a little flavor of the type of changes that we're considering. This is just a set of sort of a menu of changes or treatments that we think could help us achieve that vision and the goals that I just described. And we know that not all of these will be advanced in every segment of the corridor, but this just kind of gives you a flavor of the type of things that we're considering. And I also wanted to just acknowledge that we know we're not starting from scratch. A lot of cities, including San Bruno, have done a lot of work studying on El Camino before, and we're really doing our best to incorporate and build on those past and even current studies in each local jurisdiction. We do know that there is a study that's just gotten underway, led by CCAG, actually, for the El Camino Real corridor in San Bruno and Millbrae. And we are working really closely with that team to understand what are the preferred treatments that are going to come out of that work. Okay, just have a couple more slides here. So this is a look ahead to our whole process. So we are currently just in that conceptual planning phase, which is on the far left. So we are completing our GBI action plan. It will be published this fall. And once we finish that work, which is right around the corner, Samtrans will be sponsoring through a grant from MTC, actually, moving into the project initiation document phase, which is really the first kind of major phase in the Caltrans project development process. After that, there are a couple of more detailed design phases before we move into construction. This is a long process that we estimate through talking with Caltrans will probably take about 8 to 10 years to get into construction. And it's also a very expensive endeavor. So our ballpark estimate is that for the entire corridor, 22 miles of streetscape, it's probably in the ballpark of $750 million. I think the value add that this coordinated approach has is that working together and bundling projects in different cities, we believe will be much more competitive for funding. And Sue Ellen, maybe I'll invite Sue Ellen to come up and speak a little more about what that will look like.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Medina and council members. Sue Ellen Atkinson, Manager of Planning and Fund Management at the San Mateo County Transportation Authority. I'm happy to be here with you tonight. For those of you who are not as familiar with the Transportation Authority, or the TA, we manage the measures A and W sales tax measures within San Mateo County that are used to fund just transportation projects within the county. And one thing that we've been working on related to the GBI effort is that large number up on the screen, which is that estimated $750 million ultimate cost for all of the El Camino improvements. So the TA specializes in partnerships with Caltrans and different funding agencies, and really in identifying ways to phase funding for large projects of this nature. We also have a grants team at the San Mateo County Transit District, which both the TA and Samtrans are under the umbrella of, which are really skilled in helping us to bring in funding for large projects like this, and strategizing how to get large projects funded. So what we're hoping for ultimately, if the city is in agreement that we're moving in the right direction with this project, is that the TA would ultimately co-sponsor this GBI effort. And in doing so, since this is a project of countywide significance, we would make ourselves eligible for TA funding through our highway funding program. So that means that we can take on the responsibility with Samtrans on behalf of the city to fund up to half of this effort. And our hope is that that will really enable us to minimize the amount of funding that cities would need to contribute individually. The other part of the TA being a co-sponsor in this effort is that it gives us the ability to coordinate and combine projects in a way that's strategic. As Millie mentioned, there are a large number of cities along the corridor that are all working on different visions that we're trying to move forward in a cohesive manner. We want to make sure that when we're looking at funding for this entire project, this $750 million number, that our cities aren't competing against each other for funding, that we're looking for ways that we can phase the project and that we can strategize and move forward in order to identify funding for that gap in different funding cycles. So by being a co-sponsor, the TA would be able to help Samtrans and the project coordinate this from a higher level and produce even stronger applications for various funding programs through taking this collaborative approach. So along with Caltrans and Samtrans, we're trying to address this really early in the process of how we work collaboratively across the city borders in order to move this project forward in the future. So I will leave it at that. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with your city staff and with you. And I'll pass it along to Jake for some information from Caltrans.
Hello, thank you for having us. My name is Jake Buffenbarger. I'm the System Planning Branch Chief at Caltrans District 4 for Marin, San Francisco, and San Mateo counties. Just want to describe a little bit about Caltrans' role in all of this. Caltrans is required to engage in long-range corridor planning for the facilities we own and operate. How we do that has changed a lot in the last few years. Nowadays, our most robust long-range planning document is called the Comprehensive Multimodal Corridor Plan, or CMCP for short, which was mentioned earlier. Essentially, this document explores the existing and future conditions of a facility and recommends projects and programs to improve it. The document tackles a wide range of issues and examines all modes of travel. While District 4 has completed many CMCPs for traditional freeway facilities, this is the first CMCP for a conventional highway that runs through so many local cities. It serves as their main streets in a lot of cases. And because of the critical nature and unique features of El Camino Real, we're adjusting our standard operating procedure for CMCPs because we understand that on a corridor like El Camino, it takes extensive partnership with regional and local stakeholders. And that's why we're so extremely pleased to partner with Samtrans, the TA, CCAG, and all the cities along the peninsula on this CMCP and ongoing GBI efforts. We plan to directly incorporate both the vision from the GBI and the projects determined in the action plan into the CMCP, and we plan to use the GBI stakeholder framework to be the backbone of our engagement strategy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our last slide is an invitation for some discussion. Of course, happy to take any questions or clarifying questions that you might have. But we did want to pose a few questions to you that might get you thinking a little bit. To the extent you have any thoughts on any of these questions, this is a great time to give us some feedback that we can feed into the action plan. We are doing council presentations at each of the cities along the corridor to make sure that we are incorporating that local input from councils, in addition to your staff, like I said, who have been participating in the workshops. So would be interested, like I said, if any of this resonates with you, to hear what goals you have for El Camino and San Bruno. If you have any thoughts on the process in terms of how we can best work together to advance this vision, and any concerns or any support for the process sort of as we have described it. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here and thank you for your presentation. Any questions, comments, or feedback from council currently? If not, City Clerk, could you be so kind as to forward to the council the email so that as we leave here at a reasonable hour tonight, we have time to go home and maybe forward some of our thoughts. I know you'll probably be seeing and hearing from me at the district office, so I'll save those for that. Okay, thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
With that, I'd like to start to call up and get prepared for item F, which is receive the annual update from the Culture and Arts Commission. And while we're getting settled for that, just as a reminder, Veterans Day is obviously November the 11th. However, it is being scheduled, but if the government is still closed down, it will be canceled. So just was on the phone this evening, just as a reminder. So wait and see. If the government's open, it will go forward. And if not, it will be canceled. So with that, can we please bring forward Culture and Arts? And we hear from the chair. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Nicole, and I'm Chair of the Culture and Arts Commission, and I'm pleased to present our 2024-2025 annual report and share highlights of the Commission's last year, as well as goals moving forward. All right, so in this evening's presentation, I'll provide an overview of the Culture and Arts Commission. I'll begin by introducing our current members and sharing the purpose of the commission. I'll then highlight this year's accomplishments and conclude with our goals for the year ahead. Following the presentation, I'll be glad to answer any questions or hear any feedback. All right, so the commission currently includes 5 commissioners, myself as chair, Stephen Seymour as vice chair, and then Nader, Jean, and Janet as the other commissioners. At present, we have 2 vacancies, but with the recent implementation of our attendance policy designed to ensure quorum and active participation, an additional vacancy was created last month. So we have 2 vacancies. And then this spring also marked a leadership transition with myself stepping into the chair role in May. And together, these steps demonstrate our commitment to strengthen operations, maintaining consistency, and ensuring accountability and carrying out our work plan. All right, so the purpose of the commission is to foster creativity in San Bruno and celebrate the city's diverse cultural heritage. We do this by supporting public art, hosting cultural programs and events, enhancing quality of community life while strengthening San Bruno's character and identity. All right, so this slide and the next highlight the commission's work over the past year. Our efforts have centered on building momentum, strengthening community connections, and laying the groundwork for future cultural and artistic growth in San Bruno. These accomplishments reflect steady progress and help set the stage for the year ahead. That's the second slide. So this is regarding the mural program. So the commission recommended the newly proposed mural program to the City Council, which you will be considering later in this evening's meeting. The program is designed to give property owners, organizations, and artists a pathway to collaborate with the city in creating mural projects. So in August, we released a call to artists for a new sculpture at Posey Park, with submissions due this month on the 22nd. The approval process will include a review by a commission ad hoc committee input from a public survey, and ultimately a recommendation to City Council for consideration. We anticipate the sculpture will be installed in February of 2026. So this year's Movies in the Park series was held every Friday in September. What was new this year was the addition of a giant inflatable screen, along with upgraded projection and sound equipment made possible through a sponsorship from Comcast. The Recreation Division also provided lawn games before showtime, creating a more family-friendly atmosphere. And as a result, attendance increased by 70% compared to last year. So in January, we celebrated the Year of the Snake with a Lunar New Year event. This year, the celebration moved from its traditional home at the Senior Center to Centennial Plaza, allowing for an outdoor venue that featured a full acrobatic lion dance and welcomed more than 200 attendees. Okay, so on June 7th, we hosted an expanded Juneteenth celebration in City Park. This year's event was a collaboration between the cities of San Bruno and Millbrae, featuring food, music, dancing, games, crafts, and booths from local community organizations. The event drew around 550 attendees, and we look forward to partnering with Millbrae again for the 2026 celebration. And in May, the San Francisco Shakespeare Festival performed a condensed version of Romeo and Juliet at the Rotary Pavilion in City Park. This marked the first Shakespeare performance in the park since the pandemic, and we're excited to bring this tradition back to San Bruno. So looking ahead, the Commission has a full calendar of goals and events for 2025 and 2026. We'll be selecting new artists for the Community Art Gallery in the library, sponsoring our Winter Windows Wonderland during the holidays, and continuing Movies in the Park next September. In October, we'll host our Dia de los Muertos event at the Senior Center, followed by Shakespeare in the Park in May, and then we'll also celebrate the Year of the Horse with the Lunar New Year event at Centennial Plaza, and once again collaborate with Millbrae on Juneteenth celebration in City Park. So beyond those events, the Commission has a number of projects on the horizon. We'll be completing our 2025-2026 work plan, moving forward with the installation of a new sculpture at Posey Park, and approving at least one mural under the new program. We're also planning to establish an art gallery at the RAC and begin exploring opportunities for additional public art throughout the city. Our goal is to continue fostering a sense of belonging and community through cultural events that inspire connection. And that includes the presentation. We appreciate the council's partnership, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or receive any feedback from you.
Thank you very much for the presentation and the information. Any comments, Councilmember? Comments or questions?
Mostly comments. Thank you very much for the presentation. The commission has done a lot this year, and we're really appreciative of it. Basically, there's events happening all year long, and they're happening because of this commission. Very, very impressive the work done around the movies in the park and getting the attendance up so much. That was really nice to see, and especially like how the Juneteenth celebration is growing and growing every year. It was much more elaborate and very well executed this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that again. So I just wanted to just say thank you to the commission and for the work that you guys do.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you very much. It's really great to see more and more energy that's flowing through our community as we activate spaces and we have more activity. So I just want to say thank you very much.
Okay, there being no others, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for the presentation, and please go back to the commission and thank them for their work and their volunteering to bring this forward to us last year and this year again. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening. With that, let's go on to pauses in order. Item G, receive annual update from the Crime Prevention Committee.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff. My name is Denise Zaran, and I serve as the liaison for the San Bruno Crime Prevention Committee. Tonight, we'll share a brief overview of the committee's activities and accomplishments over the past year. Joining me this evening is Rich Wong, our committee chair, and committee member June Chen, who will share more about the committee's goals and involvement with the community in partnership with the San Bruno Police Department.
Thank you, Denise. Mayor Medina, council members, city staff, thank you. Just want to share with you our committee members. I am the chair, Rich Wong. We have Vice Chair Deanna Robinson. She is not able to be here. Committee member Peter Carey, Robert Rickle, Rhonda Boone, and June Chen is behind me. And we have one vacant spot, and we are working with our wonderful police liaison officer, Denise Arrow. So next slide. Just give you a little slide about what we do. Our primary goal is to do neighborhood watch programs. Crime prevention programs allows participation of community members to cooperate with law enforcement to reduce crime in their areas. It includes getting to know your neighbors, working together, and be trained to recognize and support and report suspicious activity. Assist existing neighborhood watch groups and encourage formations of new neighborhood watch group is our primary goal that we focus on every meeting. Disseminate information, distribute materials, and gather neighbors. We are starting to advertise neighborhood watch programs on San Bruno Police Department websites and on Nextdoor to help facilitate getting the word out. So some of the things that we've done on the next slide is National Night Out, which was a huge success again this year. Thank you for the council members who have come out and participated in this. It's important for the citizens of San Bruno to see the leaders in their neighborhoods interested in what they are interested as well. We had the National Night Outs over in Balboa, Claremont, Crystal Springs, Marymount, of which I am a part of, Seacliff, Shelter Creek, Centennial Plaza, and Off the Grid. Things that we're working on, there was a coffee social at Target, April 30th that we attended and were representative there as well. Police Day at downtown on May 17th, the Crime Prevention Committee members had a table to recruit neighborhood watch groups. And that turned out to be a lot better than over at Tanforan because it was a lot more organic to San Bruno's residents who participated in there, and we had a lot of good participation and interest in neighborhood watch groups. We were at the flag placement at Golden Gate Cemetery, May 24th. Police proclamation on May 27th. Members were recognized for their dedication to the neighborhood watch group. Next slide. Juneteenth event on June 7th. Crystal Springs Terrace meet and greet on June 17th, where we discussed how to start neighborhood watch groups for apartment complexes. July 4th at the fireworks booth on June 29th and July 4th. And Community Day at the park on July 19th. Crime Prevention Committee members tabled to recruit new neighborhood watch groups. And again, that one was very, very successful as well. Again, more focused and concentrated local community members that were interested. Senior Center informational seminars. We had those on May 28th, July 9th, August 20th, and October 22nd. Each were very successful. I believe the seniors are very, very interested in safety, and they are not shy about participating and voicing their opinion. So we had a really good session with that with Denise. Rotary Club, Taste of San Bruno, September 30th. Recently, the Pink Ribbon Party, breast cancer awareness on October 8th. Just last week, the San Bruno Fire Department open house. Very good, very successful event there. Brought out some really good people, and we were there as well to try to talk about crime prevention. Coming up October 15th, the St. Robert's Town Hall, where crime prevention members will provide more information. Upcoming community Halloween events. We have a few Halloween events that are going to be happening that we will have the opportunity to talk more about crime prevention. There will be a chat with the chief sessions, TBD on that. The first one we're kind of targeting at the Shelter Creek condominiums in early November, and then support San Bruno Police Department and help with the formation of neighborhood watch groups, includes several neighborhoods and new locations throughout the city. So that's what we have been doing. What we plan on doing for the next year or current year and on is really to increase the neighborhood watch groups. We currently have 6 active neighborhoods, and we want to increase that a lot more. We used to have a lot more than 6, so we want to reestablish the inactive neighborhood watch groups and get them back into the mix again and becoming active. We also want to really concentrate efforts to build a neighborhood watch group in the East San Bruno area. That area has been lacking of getting support from the committee, as well as from the police department as far as getting a neighborhood watch group. I've made that a goal of my own to really try to seek out members in that area. We're finding innovative ways to try to reach out to those folks and see how they want to get involved in neighborhood watch programs. Currently, there are 3 new interests in the neighborhood watch group throughout the city, and we're in contact with them and establishing the next goals for them as well. So looking forward to increasing that. So we look forward to collaborating with City Council in any of the or City Council members in the future for any other neighborhood watch groups. So with that, I'd like to bring Denise back up, and she can talk to you about the meeting schedule.
Well, we meet every second Thursday of the month at 7, and we meet at City Hall, 567 El Camino. We meet in Conference Room 101, but for the month of November, we'll be in Room 115. So we hope to see you there if you can join us. I know there's a lot of community members that have requested council members to show up and show their presence to support, just to kind of tackle some concerns and issues that they've raised. And we hope that any members of the community, I've brought some pamphlets regarding neighborhood watch groups and other issues like identity theft or scams, and you can happily grab them in the back. And with that, I thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Have any questions?
Thank you very much, Denise. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, June, for being here and for the presentation. Any questions or comments at this time?
I don't want to go first every time.
Okay.
So
I
just wanted to say thank you to the committee and all the great work that you do. I really applaud your efforts at trying to establish more neighborhood watch groups. One of the things that strikes me when especially on Nextdoor and other forms of social media, is when people say, "Oh, I saw this person creeping around and I don't know what to do." Or simple things like that. And those comments don't come out of the neighborhoods that have the neighborhood watch program, because people know, because they have because they're more plugged in. So getting our neighborhoods more involved in making sure that they know what their options are for safety. So, and I see you guys at every single event, and you had 2 slides worth of events. So I really appreciate all the efforts that you're doing, and anything that we can do to help you in establishing more of these groups, please reach out. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I did want to just, since the police chief's here, you'd mentioned tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is a town hall where the chief will be at. It says St. Robert's, but just to be clear, this is open to the entire community. So everybody and all are welcome to participate, come listen and ask questions. Again, thank you very much for the presentation and being here, and please pass on our appreciation to the committee. Item H, update on regional transportation exercises and training. And we're going to be having Michael Koo, the battalion chief, and Our fire chief, our delay is right there, just in case. It's a backup.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council members. Thank you for having me. My name is Michael Koo. I'm a battalion chief with the San Bruno Fire Department. And thank you for having me up tonight to give you an update on regional transportation exercises and trainings that have gone on in the past year or two. So tonight, I'm just going to give you the objective and a little bit of background on how these transportation exercises came about. And then we'll review what we actually did. We did a tabletop exercise. There's a bunch of technical training, and then we did a full-scale exercise. And then we'll take any questions that you may have. So the objective, again, tonight is to provide an update on the regional transportation exercises and trainings. And so to give you the background, on March 10th, 2022, about 10:30 in the morning, southbound Caltrain 506 struck 3 high rail construction vehicles. These are vehicles that ride on the rail in San Bruno. The train's locomotive derailed. All 3 construction vehicles were destroyed. Fuel released from the construction vehicles fed a fire that spread to one of the passenger rail cars. 8 people were transported to local hospitals. 1 railroad construction employee sustained serious injuries, no deaths. But this event highlighted training opportunities that could benefit all stakeholders. And from that, our tabletop exercise was born. We partnered with BART, Caltrain, and Samtrans to coordinate for probably over a year, I'd say. A lot of planning went into this. It was led by San Bruno with the help, again, of BART and Samtrans. We held this event at Redwood City at the Regional Operations Center. All of our public safety partners were invited to participate or observe. And this particular exercise was predominantly a BART Caltrain incident. So the scenario basically was a Caltrain derails and enters into the BART trackway down by San Felipe, where the actual event that we had occurred. And basically a BART train strikes the Caltrain. So basically the worst of the worst. And so an overview of the tabletop exercise, we wanted it to be a comprehensive regional transportation emergency response. Basically, we wanted all stakeholders and all partners to come and participate. We want it to be jurisdictional, a multi-jurisdictional coordination across San Mateo County. As you know, when we have large incidents, as great as San Bruno Fire is, we can't put it out or take care of it ourselves. So we depend on our partner agencies, other jurisdictions, our neighboring jurisdictions. We wanted this event to be an integration of public safety and transportation agencies. So we really wanted to highlight the coordination between the transportation agencies and our emergency public safety partners. We wanted to focus on a real world situation or real world scenario. Again, this was based on something that actually happened, but we just kind of took it up a notch and involved the BART train. The exercise was meant to focus on interoperability, communication protocols, and unified command. So what that means is we really wanted to make sure that we're able to communicate with all the partners, including the transportation agencies. And also we wanted to practice commanding the incident with all of the public safety partners at the command post. And communication is such an important aspect. I just wanted to highlight some of the measures that we've been taking to try to improve this. We've applied for several grants successfully and purchased hundreds of thousands of dollars of communication equipment that is interoperable with the transportation agencies and our public safety partners. So we're able to test that out with these events. So 3 main objectives: reinforce and practice unified command in the transportation incidents. And again, that's gathering all the public safety partners at the command posts. We wanted to gather the transportation partners there too, so that we could coordinate and respond effectively to the emergency. We wanted to test and validate our multi-agency response protocols. So we have protocols of how many engines and how many trucks and how many ambulances are sent to these type of emergencies. We wanted to test that out, make sure that the response is appropriate. Do we need to adjust it? And it turns out it was appropriate. We wanted to enhance the coordination between police, fire, and the transportation agencies. Again, that unified command. And we also wanted to evaluate the communication system and the interoperability that I mentioned earlier. With that, we would identify any of the gaps and also identify any of the improvement opportunities that could be had. So then we take after this tabletop exercise. So basically it's everyone sits around in this room and we talk about the scenario and we walk through it. The next step after that is we take what we've learned within the tabletop exercise and we begin practicing it in live training events. There we test the theoretical process in the real world with real people and real problems. The first live event exercise that we conducted would predominantly be a SamTrans exercise, and plans are in the works to hold a live BART underground training exercise in the coming year. So next steps, technical training. So these trainings are, these live exercises are a great opportunity for our responders to implement what they've learned in the training environment with regard to all the new technology in the transportation world. Some of these new technologies include hydrogen buses that now are driving around on our streets, including battery electric buses, the electrified Caltrain, and also the new electric BART trains. BART's always been electric, but they have a newer model train out now. And then our favorite, the autonomous vehicles driving around with no people on our streets. So for the full scale exercise, like I mentioned, is predominantly a SamTrans exercise. The scenario was a large earthquake that, realistic, yeah, probably strikes the area, and basically creates a bunch of different hazards and scenarios. And one of the scenarios is the one that we would practice, which would be a SamTrans hydrogen electric bus down over at the BART station in the bus loop. It takes some damage due to a part of the San Bruno BART parking structure failing and falling onto the bus, causing a hydrogen leak and a subsequent fire. So we want to make sure that it's realistic. So SamTrans produced, basically filmed and recorded the entire event, and then they put together a great video. And so I have that video here. Hopefully it'll play. Let's see.
South City, San Bruno. We have our transit PD and other local first responders here. So this is our first, hopefully many exercises that come in the future. But this is our first hydrogen bus exercise we're doing. Yeah, you still come on your feet, but you're going to be outside. Inside the bus, they come thrown up. This is a Memphis fire. I got interacted them. Here's a wall, and we're still by Control 2 S30. You can start heading over to San Bruno BART. As an exercise, City, get a wall. That's copy. This is an exercise. 005 San Bruno BART in route. Control, this is code 3. As you see now, San Bruno Fire Engine 52, San Bruno Fire Engine 51, San Bruno Fire, ladder 51. Seems like there's about 7 to 8 passengers, multiple injuries. Several passengers in the area in front of the bus. It looks like a few pieces of metal are on the bus. We have 4 or 5 passengers in front of the bus waiting for medical. Copy that. I'm going to contact County Com, let them know of the urgency of 13 passengers needing medical attention. Stand by as an emergency exercise code 3, contacting County Com. Just as an exercise, please, all available supervisors to San Bruno BART.
26 control to be advised, I'm on with the exercise.
That's what control. There we go. CMS here, Trans Police on scene, San Bruno Police on scene. Copy that. Contacting base managers, contact the higher chain of command in regards to this code 3. We're gonna have a wheelchair evacuated by fire. Copy that. 88 passenger has just an emergency drill evacuated by San Bruno Park. That's 10 Park.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. This was a big show out. I really appreciate it. And then this goes to all fire departments, but in the future, if you guys want to get any specialized training on these buses, we brought them to San Bruno, South City already. You guys can come down and check out our place.
And that's all I have tonight. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. I want to thank both chiefs, Ari and Mike. This was something that when I was in the Emergency Services Council meeting in Redwood City, that I saw this video that you just showed. In addition, I was there when you had the large exercise that you told us about in the beginning. As technology goes forward, like the buses that the board of directors is to get to zero emissions, we have to be prepared. And for San Bruno, one can say, well, it'll never happen here. Well, we know for a fact things can happen anywhere, and they have happened here. So, I want to thank you. I thought it was important for the community, for the council to see the work that is being done, the training that is being done, not always highlighted, not always conveyed, but the preparedness that is necessary and required for the transportation modes that we have within our community, and having a collaborative effort so that if you need to respond to BART, or with the electrification of the trains now, that we know the systems are off, that there's protocols and procedures in place. I also want to say to Chief DeLay, I will say that I've been in this community my whole life. I've been on the crime prevention since a young age. I've seen a lot of things happen. I've seen us not having an emergency services operations center, which has been transformed and updated thanks to you. I want to thank our fire chief, Ari DeLay, who this will be his last regular meeting with us as the fire chief. He is retiring. And I know everybody says, but he looks so young. Well, he is, but he has his opportunity. And so I want to thank you, because a lot of this stuff that has been done, the exercises and the radio communications and security to our system, taking me up on Sweeney Ridge so that I could see firsthand the need for extra security, and to the operations, that not only do you care about our city, our team, our residents, but the county as well. You have stepped forward in many roles that you serve within the fire department, the fire association, the fire chiefs, and I appreciate that. So I want to personally, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you have done for our community. Ari was here when we had the pipeline explosion, not in his current capacity, but he was here that night. He has been with our community in many ways. So on behalf of myself, and I'm sure my colleagues, we want to thank you for your service to this community. And Mr. Koo, I want to thank you because this is the mayor saying, hey, you know what would be really good? And I just kind of put it there. And you folks ran with it, and I appreciate it. And I hope the community appreciates as well what you both do. Any comments or questions? Well, there's a time that actually we did it. Okay. Chief?
No, I'm good.
Other chief?
Thank you for the kind words, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My time here in San Bruno has been pretty exceptional, and I'm humbled at the opportunity to be able to serve this community. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, for all items under presentations and announcements, any speaker cards?
Yes, I have one speaker card from Matt Jones. You would please approach the podium.
Good evening, everyone. I know there's a lot of items to comment on here, but the main one that I wanted to talk about was the Grand Boulevard Initiative action plan presentation that you all received. I just wanted to add that through my work at the Bike Coalition, I've had a chance to participate in the resurgence of this task force for the first time in a number of years. And all the folks that spoke before you all tonight are doing just an incredible job. We have a really, really talented group of people working in this working group and task force. So I just wanted to thank you all again for being here tonight. It's been a pleasure to work with you all. And I wanted to just share with council what a great opportunity there is right now with El Camino, because it's kind of right in this perfect alignment with this CCAG multimodal transportation corridor work that's going on with CCAG between Millbrae and San Bruno right now. So we got that coming online. We have Tanforan, revisiting TCP, and there's just a really big opportunity to kind of have the stars align. And I do want to add that the walk and bike plan, which I helped work on when I was with the city, it's a 10-year plan, and it was adopted in 2016. And at the time, El Camino Real wasn't seen as a viable option for bikes because there wasn't a lot of, I guess, it just wasn't the right time. But I think that there could be an opportunity here. And I did want to share one little anecdote, which is when I did work for the city, I sat at a desk that sort of faced the IHOP, that direction. And I remember this one particular day where I was sitting there and the signal went out, and there were kids that were trying to cross to get to Allen's school at that IHOP. And I realized that the only thing that was keeping that street from being a safe street versus a dangerous one that risked their lives is just that signal. And that, you know, I think there's a big opportunity to do something there that really could reimagine that street and turn it from what is essentially a highway right now into something that's much more livable, enjoyable, and we can see maybe more kids walking to school and not feeling afraid to have to make that crossing every day. So I just wanted to add that and thank you all for your time and for your leadership regionally. I know with a few of you all on different important positions on regional transportation boards, I wanted to thank you for your service.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments. With that, we'll move on to item 6, consent calendar. All items are considered routine or implemented in earlier council action and may be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless requested. There will be one single public comment period for all items in this section unless a council member requests to pull an item for a separate vote. Are there any items to be pulled for a separate vote? Okay. So now I'm going to ask, and let's make it concise, to items that we need to have further discussion or comments.
N as in Nancy, please.
N as in, I just got that. Good choice.
Mr. Mayor, short comments on items G, H, short comments, J, K, and L.
I feel like M is just sitting out there by itself. Everything else around it has been taken, but okay. I see nothing else. Let's start. Item G, consider adoption of a resolution accepting the completion of Florida Park.
So, Mr. Mayor, similar to what happened at our last council meeting, there's so much going on in San Bruno right now. And to just have it on consent, I think the majority of the public doesn't look at it. And if we don't have a few words about it, it just, but a number of these projects is congratulations for closing out Florida Park, of having $687,000 left out of that budget. Congratulations on completing segment 1 of the Huntington Avenue Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvement Project, a $4 million project. These are things that we can see now that are getting done in San Bruno that have been talked about for a long time. 2 grants that our police department obtained again this year, or obtained, totaling $133,000, with $120,000 of that for selective traffic enforcement. And then the grant for a electronic citation device, data collection system. These are things that our taxpayers don't have to pay for, that we get grants for. And I just want to make sure that staff are acknowledged. L is the partnership policy that staff took on to, how do we get more involvement in our community? And we have to have policies around those things, and setting a policy takes work. So wanted to thank Director Travis Carlin for that work as well. So those are those 5 things. Thank you all very much. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. And I don't know if you noticed, but all of a sudden, all the directors appeared. We had so many things pulled, they weren't sure. So they all came in the room just to be safe.
Just one real quick thing. Unlike last council meeting, I was able to submit my questions. I sent to the city clerk. I sent to all the department heads. They did answer the questions. And so those are under the public. That'll be posted publicly at some point.
Correct.
In our minutes. But I wanted to thank them all for their work. So I think they're here for other things as well later in the agenda as well. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And now, for N as in Nancy, consider adoption of the resolution establishing a mural program.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I pulled this item because this, similar to comments just made, this is something I think is a little too important to just kind of go by on consent. Not that the work that we approve on consent isn't important, but this program has been a topic of discussion the entire time I've been on council. So I've been here for almost 5 years, and we've talked about it, and there was always different reasons why we couldn't do it, and why there were the different roadblocks in the way. So I'm very, very, very excited that this is coming forward finally, and want to acknowledge our Culture and Arts Commission and our Community Services Department for pulling us together. So I did ask, and if it would be possible to just get an extremely brief overview of how the program works for the public, because again, we're not going to have a full staff presentation. So again, super brief, but just to let folks know how this works. And I did ask for this in advance.
Yes, you did. And thank you for the questions being submitted. Thank you for the brevity. You rolled that along and high level, and as the council member said, brief.
Thank you, Mayor, and Councilmember Hamilton for the question. Travis Carlin, Community Services Director. So you are right. This is this type of policy can take many different avenues to get there, and we worked in collaboration with the City Attorney's Office to develop a path forward to incorporate murals in public-facing spaces. And the whole idea behind this mural policy is that if a a citizen or a business owner that has a public-facing property is interested in putting a mural on their building, what they would do is they would propose that through an application process. Essentially, what would happen is that that proposal would come to the Culture and Arts Commission, and they would review the proposal and make a recommendation to the city council for a granted easement or to enter into an easement agreement with the property owner. The idea behind this is that the city would then own the mural. We would be responsible for all of the upkeep of the mural throughout the duration of the easement on the property. The other way for murals to be incorporated is if it is a city commissioned mural, and that would, in that instance, what we would do is we would bring forward an item to the city council to make an appropriation for a project. We would identify where the mural would be going. We would go through a call to artists or an RFP process, depending on the project. And then we would bring that back to the Arts Commission, or all the proposals back to the Arts Commission to make an informed recommendation to the city council for final approval.
Great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the presentation. Thank you. And thank you for highlighting that. I forgot to thank our city attorney for her work on bringing this forward. So just for the public's benefit, the current mural program in place, which means we don't have one, is that if someone proposes a mural, it is deemed to be an illegal sign and you can't have it. So it's been critically important that we get this program in place. And I did have several questions getting after it, getting into the details, and they were answered very completely. All that information is available in the minutes. So I will stop taking up our time and speaking with that.
Thank you.
I obviously will be supporting this important item.
Hopefully you'll support all of them. There being no speaker cards, we have under consent items A through N. Any action?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion, and I'll let you decide the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously, 5-0 vote. We'll move on to conduct of business. Item A, please.
Consider adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to the agreement for consultant services with Janela Juan to provide mental health clinician services to the San Bruno Police Department through June 30th, 2026, and appropriating an amount not to exceed $146,445.
Chief, if you would begin.
Absolutely. Honorable Mayor, City Council, Matt Lethien, Police Chief. Tonight, I'm excited to join you and be able to do a year one review and outline the path forward for such an important program, which is the Community Wellness and Crisis Response Team. Luckily, I'm joined by our mental health clinician, Janela Juan, and we'll take you through a quick synopsis. The agenda for tonight's presentation will outline the objective, a program review, as well as a year one review. We'll talk about the program transition that recently occurred and map out a path forward with a recommendation for council. So our objective tonight is to provide the City Council with a comprehensive review of the first year of the Community Wellness and Crisis Response Team program and outline a path forward to maintain what I consider to be an essential resource for our community. So to sum up how this program works, this is a partnership really between the Police Department, San Mateo County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services, the now defunct nonprofit Star Vista, and some other stakeholders in our county and community. This program has been in place in San Bruno since July of 2024. So in July of this year, it just completed 1 year. And it really allows our mental health clinician and Janela to be embedded with the police department. While she is not a city employee, she works out of the police department, has an office there, and works full-time out with the police department. A really valuable component of this program is that it's under evaluation by the John W. Gardner Center at Stanford, really looking to measure the efficacy about what this program does and the benefit that it offers the community. And lastly, an important benefit is that it is fully reimbursable through the Justice Assistant Grant, or JAG grant. So how does it actually work? Well, what happens with this program is that law enforcement officers and our clinician, when we get called about a presently occurring crisis issue, they can respond together in what's called a co-response model. They will respond separately in different cars. They'll go out to the scene. Officers will usually arrive first because there's some type of safety concern or element. They don't need to render the entire scene or situation completely safe, just safe enough to now kind of call in our clinician in Janella. And it allows, as you can see on the photos up here, her to connect as quickly as possible to the person in crisis while the officer stays on scene to maintain and ensure safety for all. It's really the best approach to kind of combine the expertise and resources of both police and mental health professionals to best serve the community. Now, why does this really matter? It's the fastest way that I've seen in my 25 years of policing experience to connect community members in crisis with mental health experts out in the field when there's a safety concern. It's great because we have a lot of other partners in our community, other important programs like our mobile crisis response team 988. We work in partnership with them, so this isn't an either or, it's a both and. It really allows, because our community wellness and crisis response team, this is field focused, getting out in the field to people in crisis, but it enables a warm handoff to longer term case management to really allow the person who is in crisis to be stabilized and then to receive the long-term care that they need. And it works in partnership with a lot of other community entities like schools, faith-based organizations, other governments or nonprofits. And lastly, I talked about that evaluation component. So the John W. Gardner Center, because this program has been in place since 2021 in other cities and jurisdictions in our county, they've studied it and they've been able to show that it empirically does reduce by 16% these involuntary psychiatric detentions or 5150s, as well as it leads to a reduction by 17% in 911 calls that are tagged with mental health incidents. So we're going to tag team this. I'll start it off and then I'll pass it over to Janella, but really looking at kind of our outcomes and our activity. So I'll call your attention to the screen. In year one, the number of calls that she responded to was 135 that came in through our formal dispatch center. That's not the entirety of what she did. That's just the 911 or non-emergency calls that we received. She's responding to 135 incidents. You can see the breakdown in the pie chart. Now, always the kind of the goal is going to be not to have to do an involuntary detention, but some type of alternate resolution or de-escalation. We were able to do that with Janella in 64 of those incidents. In 9 of them, we were able to work with the person in crisis, and they were able to agree to voluntarily go to receive psychiatric assessment and assistance. In 55 of those, that involuntary psychiatric detention was justified and needed to be put in place. And now, in addition to that 135 incidents, there are also 111 follow-ups. So that while this is field focused, oftentimes to ensure that warm handoff, there is extensive follow-up, and I'll pass it to Janella to talk about.
Great. Thank you, Chief Lethine. So as Chief Lethine said, I had 111 follow-ups in addition to the 135 calls. And those are when I followed up with the community members, either through referrals. Sometimes the officers already have contact with someone who they feel like might need more attention or more support. That would be something I would do. And then also making contacts after the incidents or after these calls of service. I assist them with connecting to appropriate mental health treatments. So on the right chart, the very pink one, this is the breakdown of all the follow-ups I have done. And they pretty much break down to one of the most important ones is it's on the most majority of them, which is resources and connection to services. So sometimes one of the most important parts about me being out there on the field is making that initial contact and helping them initiate mental health treatment. The other half of it is more so me connecting and collaborating with our community partners, making sure we can get more appropriate treatment, also having additional wraparound services in place. And then the other options are also having them connect to temporary placement. So that's either shelter, getting them connected to crisis residential, or even substance use facilities. And the smallest part of that pie chart right there is just more so there are other factors in place. So
San Bruno is pretty popular. And so one of the things is that we get a lot of people who come in here, you know, they love our city and all of that, but they're not from here, or they want to go back to their hometown. So that's one of the things that I do is I still offer resources within the county, but also connect them with their respective resources as well. So I wanted to bring up and share a story with you guys about one of my first encounters working with a community member. For privacy purposes, the names have been changed, but I wanted to bring up Gary and Adam. So Gary is one of the first recommendations or referrals from one of the officers, and Gary and Adam live together on the west side of town. And Gary has a long history of mental health issues, a lot of 911 calls. And prior to having the clinician on board, the police department noticed there was a lot of multiple calls just because there was untreated mental health issues that caused like neighborhood disturbances late at night and even within his home. Adam, his brother, did express concerns that they're both elderly and he couldn't take care of Adam or Gary for full time. And so one of the things, at least in the background, that I've been able to kind of learn as the whole process goes along is that Gary had multiple attempts to get connected to treatment, stay engaged with our community partners like our Family Assertive Support Team, APS, BHRS. However, it was not really successful because of the fact that he didn't want to leave the house. He actually refused. A lot of it had to do with his mental health issues. Now, when I first engaged, if you take a look at the timeline there, was back in July. I had the first initial contact with them. Gary wasn't at all interested in engaging with a clinician. However, I was able to work with his brother. So it wasn't like I got referral and he denied and that was it. I actually worked with his family member to kind of figure out, provide some psychoeducation on how to help manage it at home, and then also when to utilize 911. Eventually, I did a few frequent visits at his home and gained his trust, gained rapport. And on the October of last year, we actually had an incident where it ended up having a 5150 hold placed. But that was one of the important events because we were able to connect him to behavioral health, get him connected to a team, get him assigned a wraparound service, which is known as the assistive outpatient team. And from there, once he had been released from the hospital, he was okay and he was taken care of. I ended up coming out and collaborating with the BHRS team to go ahead and start as well a care court petition, which if you're for those of anyone who's not familiar yet with Care Court, it's actually a pretty new program that started in San Mateo County of last year. It was by the, and forgive me if I butcher this, but the Community Assistance Recovery and Empowerment, also known as CARE Act, which allows the petitioners, so someone like me or even family members, to go ahead and petition for a care plan or care court ordered treatment. Now, once we were able to go ahead and place him on a referral, the care team was immediate. They were able to come in, assess him, get him connected to services, which is really great because they actually do come out to the home and actually provide that intensive case management, which is what he really needed. And I'm actually really proud of this, but as of January this year, he has not had any 911 calls. And the last follow-up I have done in February, he was still connected and engaged with the care team, which is really amazing how even though you can see, mental health treatment is not immediate, like our crises, we're there to kind of provide like a really quick Band-Aid, but the follow-up afterwards is what really is the importance of the CWCRT program. And that's something that I do provide, is being able to follow them and still make sure that they are connected to services.
No, thanks, Janella. And I think there's always power in a story to really bring home the power of this program. If you think about the benefit that's offered to Gary, to his brother, but to the entire community as well, there's no longer an issue. Our officers, our dispatchers are now free to focus elsewhere. That's what Janella and this program offers our community every day. I wanted to bring to the council's attention that in August of this year, So initially, this program was stood up with a nonprofit Star Vista as a partner. They were the employer of Janella as the clinician. In August, they went out of business, so we lost them. We had to pivot. Kudos to the police department team, specifically Captain Brent Shemick. He worked with Janella and BHRS. We were able to develop a 2-month contract just to continue and have continuity of this program for the benefit of our community. But as we look forward now, that 2-month contract is set to expire at the end of this month on October 31st. Hence the need to come to council for action to amend the contract to continue the program through this fiscal year. I will tell you that, in my opinion, this is the new normal, and this is really how police need to operate when they're working with their community for the benefit of their community. The really nice thing through this fiscal year is that Justice Assistance Grant is still in place. So in effect, right, we would be able to be reimbursed for the money expended to continue to contract with Janella to continue the program. And we're working with her and with others to explore other options as we look beyond the fiscal year, because like I said, we have to find a way to continue to offer this to our community members. So the recommendation for you tonight is to consider adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to the agreement for consultant services with Janella Wan to provide mental health clinician services to the San Bruno Police Department through June 30th of 2026, and appropriating an amount not to exceed $146,445. With that, that ends our presentation. We stand ready to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you both for the information, presentation, and recommendation. And thank you for the job. And I think coming forth and giving that recap is important. And I do know, hearing from before, like from Life Moves and stuff, is that sometimes it takes a while. It could take a year or two before folks are prepared to get or wish the services or help. And so to have the story of Gary, I think is great. Kudos to you. Thanks to the captain for getting us, shall we say, a short gap in between the needs. But having you here is important to the community and an important role for the police department to take and do what you're doing. So I want to thank you personally for that. Questions or comments from colleagues at this time? Any public comments?
I have no speaker cards.
I just had a quick comment. So
yes, I'm sorry. Or comments. Councilmember Hamilton.
Yeah. So I didn't have any questions, but I think we first started talking about this on council. I think it was in 2023, and I won't take up a lot of time because I spoke spoke at length of the importance of this program, and to see the results and see that it is as successful as we had hoped it would be when we put it together is great. Is really great to see. This is such a critical and important part of the service that we need to provide for our community. So I will be supporting this item tonight.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you for the report. Thank you for being here in San Bruno. As this winds down, what about the future? This is a grant that we currently have, and it seems like the data will be provided to Stanford. I get that. And where do we anticipate going from there? Like working with the county, working with other cities. This was so helpful because when we first approved this, it was like, okay, we're going to have somebody going on mental health. And at that point, it was like, okay, so how's it work? They just kind of get called out. But seeing that you're working daily to go and do the follow-ups, that wasn't clear to me during the initial presentation. And it seems like, we just have one person, right? And like, how much do we really need of a city of our size? And if it's only happening here in San Bruno, what about our neighboring communities? And how, through typically the county provides the mental health part of it. So I'm just curious to see your thoughts, Chief, and we'll likely be seeing this in our budget for next year, or just kind of like, it seems like it's such a great program that it should expand somehow. And depending, of course, it comes down to how are we going to pay for it, right? So those are my comments and questions.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for those are all valid questions. Those are all important questions and questions that staff are already wrestling with and looking to try to address, and really what is the appropriate approach based on data and really the benefit to the community. We've had some preliminary discussions with other agencies in our county and our neighbors to see if a regionalized approach could be appropriate. And again, we really want not just data, but kind of taking a community-informed approach to that. We're also looking at some other possible external funding sources so that, I do strongly believe that this is a program that needs to continue. And if we can do so without having to come and tap into our city budget, we find some other ways to fund it, that would be great. So those are all things we are kicking around. But yeah, I mean, kudos to the council for having the vision to support this program. It's great to be able to come back with a year one report and show just the benefit. And to your question of how often is it needed, unfortunately, it's just like police work. It's never necessarily regular where every day there's one call. I can share with you that this past Friday, right, whereas maybe a day or two before that would be slower, she had numerous calls on Friday where there's not enough time in the day and she's going out to multiple community members in crisis and really helping our officers resolve those situations, with long-term outcomes and peacefully. So, yeah, I mean, but I appreciate the questions, and those are ones we're looking at.
Just one more follow-up question of how does this work with Life Moves and addressing the homeless encampments? And if you could just share a little bit of how that's handed off and who's doing what and who's following through.
Yeah, thank you for the question, because it is something that on the offside, I also do assist and support, although it's not my primary goal to, help in terms of like unhoused populations. As we notice, there's always going to be it's always going to have co-mental health issues as well. And so in terms of that, I already made contact with Life Moves. They're on my speed dial. But I have somebody who is working with just the North County aspect, and someone specifically for San Bruno. So he and I are always in contact. I'm in their meetings as well, just so I can go ahead and see if there's any community members that are already on my caseload, and we kind of collaborate there in terms of, all right, let's address whether or not the main issue right now is mental health. Are they stabilized? And if so, then I can do a soft handoff to our Life Moves partners and making sure that they are following through and making sure that they are meeting them where they're at. So whether or not it's like a quick call and letting them know like that their community member is in crisis and I'm sending them to the hospital, that's something that I can go ahead and do. And so they can go ahead and communicate with the hospitals and making sure that there is a dispo plan, going to shelter, going back to temporary placement. And so far. And so that is something that I do. And I also work with Denise as well for our supportive services officer when she does go on encampments and all of that. And she does notice that there's a need for mental health, even just to come out. It doesn't necessarily need to have assessments. It is something also that I can do is provide resources, maybe getting them immediately connected to a case manager rather than going through the rapid response, because as rapid as it sounds, it sometimes takes a while for them to come out here. So that's one of the things that I do. And that's one of the benefits that we were talking about, is that I'm the immediate person. I can come out there since I am based out in San Bruno. So that's one of the perks.
Thank you again.
Denise, please.
Hi, thank you again. Sorry, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more. So Janella is my counterpart, so we work hand in hand together, and I tap into her expertise a lot. So a lot of the times when we do have complaints for homeless encampments, They don't necessarily meet the criteria for a mental health hold at the time, but sometimes when we do get multiple calls, and then if we do go out and meet with these individuals, sometimes they get irate and then they end up exhibiting certain behaviors. So then that's when we call Janella on the spot. She'll work after hours and I'll give her a call for the lady that was staying here at the park. So she did help me with that. We also collaborate with county agencies and meet on a monthly basis, and it's called the Field Crisis Committee. And so we gather, several individuals that we've previously contacted, and other agencies also contact them. And then, a lot of the mental health clinicians from the county know a little bit more of the recurrent individuals that we've dealt with before. So she is definitely a resource that I use and I tap into. She may know a lot more resources than I do, and that's what I have her help me with. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no other questions or comments, this is no members of the public wishing to speak. If we could have any action on the resolution.
Through the mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution as read by the city clerk.
I'll second.
Motion Hamilton, seconded Salazar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0 unanimous. Thank you. Thank you for being here and your report and your work. Item B.
Consider introducing reading by title only and waiving further reading of an ordinance entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Bruno, amending Title 11, Building, Construction, and Fire Protection of the San Bruno Municipal Code and adopting by reference the 2025 California Reference Standards Code and the 2025 Administrative Code, and set public hearing on adoption of ordinances for November 12th, 2025.
Director.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Medina and members of the council. My name is Galen Yusuf Boggs, and I'll be presenting the first reading of the 2025 Building and Fire Code adoption with local amendments. All right. Tonight's agenda, we'll just go over briefly the objective, background, and any recommendations by staff. So tonight's objective is to present the proposed ordinance amending Title 11 of the San Bruno Municipal Code to adopt by reference the 2025 California Building Standards Codes. This presentation will provide an overview of the adoption process and the next steps leading to the scheduled public hearing on November 12th, 2025. So a little background, the State of California Building Standards Commission adopted new state building codes, which take effect on January 1st, 2026. The commission prepares code updates every 3 years with mid-cycle adjustments. These codes apply minimum construction standards for all construction throughout the state. Local jurisdictions, like the city of San Bruno, may amend the new California building codes to address unique local climatic, geographical, and topographical conditions, which take effect once filed with the California Building Standard Commission and the State Department of Housing and Community Development. While there are more details in the staff report, tonight's intent is simply to introduce the first reading. Questions and additional details on the building and fire code adoption can be discussed also at the November 12th meeting. So it is staff's recommendation to introduce the ordinance as read by the city clerk.
Thank you very much. Any questions this time? And there being no speaker cards, this is a request for action.
Through the chair,
Mr. Salazar.
I will make the motion to introduce the ordinance and waive any further readings.
Second.
There's a motion, Salazar, seconded Alvarez. All those in favor say aye.
Mayor
Oh,
Medina, I just want to clarify that the motion also includes setting the public hearing date for November 12th.
The motioner and the seconder are amenable to that and in agreement, and that will be part of the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimous, and it is set for November the 12th. Item C.
Consider adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute the 5-year general services agreement with Park Mobile LLC for a mobile parking payment application in substantially the form attached, subject to any revisions approved by the city attorney, and determining the project is exempt under the California Environmental Quality Act.
Evening, Anna. It's all yours. Thank you.
Good
Thank you
evening.
for all of your patience, and go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Anna Morales, Parking Program Manager, and tonight with me are Kat Franchuk and Zach DeSalvo from Park Mobile. And tonight we are very excited to present a key milestone in the continued evolution of the downtown paid parking program through the selection of Park Mobile as the city's official mobile parking payment provider. As a proven, widely adopted solution throughout California, Park Mobile offers an intuitive, user-friendly experience that will bring added convenience to our community. This next step reflects our commitment to modernizing our parking program, improving equity and access, and delivering a more seamless and customer-focused parking experience for San Bruno. Sorry, the clicker is not working. Oh, the screen. Oh, got it. Sorry. Okay, so tonight's agenda includes the objective, RFP background, mobile parking payment application RFP, contractor selection, Park Mobile introduction, the fiscal impact, tonight's recommended action, and questions. Tonight's objectives are authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the 5-year general services agreement with Park Mobile for a mobile parking payment application. It's in substantially the form attached, subject to any revisions approved by the city attorney, and determine the project is exempt under the California Environmental Quality Act. So to give you a little bit of background on the RFP, in April 2024, the city launched the Downtown Paid Parking Program to improve parking turnover, support local businesses, and better manage curbside demand within the downtown core. The program included the installation of 84 T2 kiosks and a T2 mobile pay option for approximately 700 paid parking spaces across both on-street areas and 8 public parking lots downtown. The city acknowledged from the outset that the initial launch would represent part of a broader strategy to modernize and enhance parking access and user experience. In November 2024, due to T2 mobile pay limitations, staff proposed exploring alternative smartphone-based payment options. In May 2025, staff was directed to issue an RFP for an alternative mobile phone payment parking solution. And in June 2025, staff issued an RFP for a mobile parking payment application vendor. The RFP generated 5 proposals from qualified vendors and included a multi-departmental review process, including Public Works, Police, IT, and city manager staff. The evaluation criteria included technical functionality, cost structure, customer support, implementation readiness, and demonstrated experience in comparable Bay Area cities. After the 5 submissions were reviewed and ranked, our top ranked proposer was Park Mobile. So why Park Mobile? Because they are a proven user-friendly app widely adopted across California. They offer a fast launch plan and provide outreach support. They provide a dashboard for tracking usage, revenue, and trends. They offer user-paid transaction model with no upfront or ongoing costs. They are enforcement ready, scalable, and able to integrate with our T2 system. And they offer a competitive fee, which was further reduced through negotiations. And now I'd like to reintroduce Kat and Zach from Park Mobile. They'll be walking us through a presentation of the Park Mobile platform, highlighting how the app works and how it's been successfully implemented in other cities and the key benefits it can bring to our parking program.
Thank you, Anna. Hi. Let's see. Let's go. We're excited to be here tonight to present to you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, City staff. Anna, it's been great working with you on this project, and we're looking forward to showing you our mobile payment solution. My name is Zach DeSalvo. I'm the Regional Sales Manager for Northern California. I've 15 plus years experience in real estate finance and technology, most recently parking technology. I'm from the Bay Area. Right now I live in Santa Cruz, California. Kat?
Kat Franchuk, I'm the Regional Sales Director. I have been in parking technology for over 10 years, very niche space. I'm located in Vancouver, BC.
All right, so first, let's talk about Arrive, our parent company. We're a global collection of parking companies devoted to helping cities like San Bruno improve their parking operations and provide the very best parking experience. So some of our companies, Flowbird is our hardware. We have a touch screen pay station that we also offer. Parkopedia provides consumer insight into parking availability. And Easy Park is our European counterpart to Park Mobile. So we're 90 countries, we're 4,000 plus employees strong. There's a lot of idea sharing between these companies, and we really want to provide the best parking experience and overall make cities more livable across the world. Let's talk about the evolution of parking in city centers. So first, some of us remember when we had parking on the streets where people could park, really wherever they wanted, as long as they wanted. But when streets get too crowded, we go to timed parking, which works, but it's difficult to enforce. Some people overstay. So then we move to meter parking, which is nice because there's revenue for the city to help, enhance, communities, beautify communities, and also, pay for enforcement. But there's actually a better solution. It's the mobile payment option that you guys selected. And this really helps provide convenience to the driver. We have really the easiest platform, the best service in the industry, the fastest payment processing times, and the highest uptime. So when people come to San Mateo Avenue, they are, either going to go to the T2 stations or they can use our app. They still have the option. A lot of people will find it, more convenient to use our app when they're enjoying their dinner. They can, stay a little bit longer. They could extend without having to go back to their vehicle. They can do it just from our app, and I'll demonstrate that for you as well. We also provide customer service, alleviating a lot of what the city would have to, calls that the city might have to field about parking, and then also provide more insight for parking data on the back end as well. So we're trying to create like a parking utopia, and we hope that we can partner together to make that happen. So Park Mobile by the numbers, pretty astounding. We have 70 million users across North America. That's 15 million plus monthly transactions. We're in 600 cities, 47 of the top 100. We're also in airports and universities. We're ranked number 3 in the navigation category of the App Store, only behind Google Maps and Waze. And about 1 in 4 drivers will use us across different markets. We call that our network effect, which is something I'll go into as well. This shows our reach, our footprint in California, 7 million users, shows a map of some of the cities that we're in, 55 million plus transactions. 1 in 4 drivers in California have used Park Mobile, 35 plus cities and counting. And then we make up about 300,000 parking spaces here. Now in the Bay Area, we have users from every county in the Bay Area. This map shows about 800,000 users across the Bay Area. Keep in mind that not everyone drives, so that is a lot. On the peninsula, there are about 240,000, San Mateo County, 123. This shows some of the cities that we all love to go to that we're already in: Walnut Creek, Berkeley, Oakland, Sacramento, San Leandro, Santa Cruz, South City, and we are currently rolling out in San Francisco. We also plan to be live with Caltrain next month. And here's some of the universities that we operate in as well. Let's talk about our adoption rates. They're really among the highest in the mobile parking payment space. This gives you an idea of our adoption rates in some cities. Why are adoption rates so high? One, we're easy to use. People, I think, find us the easiest to use, the most intuitive. It's simple. I'll go through our workflow shortly. Also, the best customer service. We have 24/7 support that's bilingual, and also our network effect. So what is the network effect? Basically, we have a large user base. We're in a lot of cities. People like using us. And if they see us wherever else they go, they tend to want to use us, and creates that network effect where you have about 1 in 4 drivers using us in different markets fairly often. We have best-in-class customer support, 24/7, 365 availability. We field over 50,000 customer service calls every month. 85% of those calls we're answering within 30 seconds. 90%, we have a push to have a 90% one-touch resolution rate. We're level 1 PCI compliant. We have bilingual support, English and Spanish. And then people can also reach out to us a lot of different ways: multi-channel, email, web, in-app chat, even on social media. Another big reason that we are number 1 is our uptime, 99.94% over the last 24 months. So another great thing is if your pay stations happen to be down, it provides people another option to be able to pay. Let's go through our user workflow. So this is if somebody does have the app. We are one of the only providers that shows a map. So they have the option to click on the zone, and it's going to just default GPS-wise to the street that they're on. They can click on that zone. We have a nice, easy-to-use wheel so they can select the duration that they would like to park. Easier to use than some drop-down functionalities or typing in a time. This is really the easiest interface that is out there. Then if they are downloading the app for the first time, they enter their plate number, their payment information, click Start Parking, and then they will have a live look about how much time is left in their parking session. They'll know exactly. It's going to show on their front screen, on their lock screen, and they can extend when they need to. They're also going to get notifications if they so wish. Now, if somebody already has used the app, they do not need to enter in their plate number or payment information again, and it's very quick and easy. You take away one of these screens from the workflow, and they can park in really seconds. Post-session features. This is just showing the live look of how much time they have remaining. It's nice to know. And then again, they can extend when they need to. If somebody has app fatigue, or they don't really want to download another app, it's very quick and easy to point your phone at our QR codes. It'll go to the website. It also has the website on our signs. It'll show the zone, so they can park really just as easily, and then without downloading another application. And on a guest checkout experience, they can also do text to park as well, and they can also call. Some people still call and make payments via our support line, which is fine. We love those. Now Kat is going to finish the presentation for us.
I'm taking over. So included in our deployment is the dashboard. So this is for city staff to use. This is the back end system. Again, very easy and intuitive. We've got Washington, D.C. using this as well as Joe's Marina. So easy way to configure your rates. You'd have the ability to do that on your own, but also an account manager that would work with you to do that if needed as well. We've worked on a lot of visualization of data. So this is really a powerful tool. You'll be able to see where majority of transactions are actually taking place, the actual GPS coordinates of those. You'll be able to see if your signage is effective. You'll be able to see perhaps people are paying more so on one side of the street than the other. Again, lots of really, really great data at your fingertips, the more you provide digital transactions. So we are integrated with T2 Systems. We have an established partnership. Fun fact, that is my last workplace. So I'm quite well versed in the kiosks and the enforcement that the city is using currently. We have 67 active partnerships in the US. So we're established. This works. It's a real-time integration, and you're able actually to use the back-end system from T2 to view Park Mobile transactions, or you can see T2 transactions in the Park Mobile backend. So either way, fully integrated and integrated with the enforcement tool as well, all in real time. Some notable launches that we have with this partnership is Santa Cruz, Houston, Loyola Marymount, and Sausalito. Equity is always something that we continue to strive for. So as Zach mentioned, if a constituent doesn't have a smartphone, we do have an interactive voice recording option where somebody is able to just call in from a regular phone, a flip phone like that picture, or the ability also to accept prepaid credit cards for those who are perhaps unbanked. So our implementation launch plan, we typically quote about 60 days, which is quite quick in this space. Could go a lot faster. San Bruno already has set rates with the T2 kiosks. It's really about taking those, putting it in our back end, ramping up the team and training them on the solution, and working together on a good effective signage plan to deploy through the city. I'll add, the support doesn't end there. You get assigned an account manager that will support you ongoingly. That's similar in our marketing approach as well. During the implementation process, we'll have our marketing team get engaged. Our business model is based off of transactions. We want to get the most transactions possible. That's the whole MO. So we'll work with you on social media ads. We want to release a joint press release. One really neat thing that we do is geo-targeting. So again, those 70 million users across the US using us as they travel, and the 7 million users within California themselves. If they've got the Park Mobile app downloaded and we do a geofence location around the downtown area of San Bruno, they'll get a pop-up saying, hey, you've got Park Mobile on your phone. We're now available in San Bruno. So just really cool ways to make the parker aware that we're available. On that note of communication, we have great tools within the app as well to help with any type of city communication. So first, this is just an example of an info card. We can get quite detailed within the app where the parker can drill in and see the details of perhaps a certain zone is 2 hours of parking and perhaps it's between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. You could have all those details listed. We can actually force this pop up as well. So let's say in the scenario where San Bruno has a street that will be closed next week for construction. You'd be able to push those types of notifications during the transaction as well. So just lots of ways to communicate with the public too. You're closing.
All right, I'm closing. So yeah, why should San Bruno and Park Mobile partner together? Number one, our California network is second to none. We have a very high adoption rate as well among cities that we roll out with and partner with, which just does help with the whole parking program and experience. A lot of times increased revenue for the city as well. For the most widely used app in the US, with multiple ways to pay, including Apple Pay and Google Pay, which is great, especially for the Bay Area. Our platform, broadest functionality for every stage of the journey on and off street. So wherever you are in your parking program, we can always work with you on making those changes, helping you with that, helping to grow with your city. We're the top rated mobile payment provider with first rate customer service, bilingual support, English and Spanish. And then we have a vast list of existing integrations and open API ability for future integrations. Very versatile. And then finally, execution. We have a proven rapid implementation program for even the most complex operations. We are rolling out currently in San Francisco, and yeah, it's been complex, and we've been there every step of the way to make it happen, and we will. Marketing at launch and beyond. So from beginning to when we launch to long after, you'll have a dedicated account manager who's actually located in San Jose, who will be fielding emails and answering your calls and giving your parking team really whatever they need, and then just that ongoing local support from account management. I think that's all that we had.
Yeah.
Kat, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kat and Zach. So to close out, in terms of cost and revenue, I wanted to share a couple of scenarios. So in example one, for a 1 hour on-street parking session at $1.50, a Park Mobile customer would pay $1.80 and the city would receive $1.30 in revenue. In example two, for a 2 hour off-street parking session, that's $1. The Park Mobile customer would pay $1.30 and the city would receive 81 cents in revenue. In terms of overall fiscal impact, a few things I wanted to highlight are that there is no direct capital expenditure associated with this agreement or the implementation of Park Mobile. Park Mobile, as they mentioned, typically achieves about a 50% adoption rate in its first year with a goal of 70% or higher. And a 1 year projection for a 50% adoption is a difference of about 2,000 less than the current model, or less than 0.5% of total revenue. And we believe this minimal revenue difference would be offset by their 24/7, 365 customer service, reminders for expiring sessions, equitable access, strategic marketing, geofencing area info cards, and the use of a widely adopted and proven successful app across California, as they mentioned, including with our neighboring city, South San Francisco, and coming this month, as they mentioned, a citywide implementation in San Francisco and more, which could include a potential increase in compliance or a potential reduction of citations. So to recap, tonight's recommended actions are to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the 5-year general services agreement with Park Mobile for a mobile parking payment application in substantially the form attached, subject to any revisions approved by the city attorney, and determine the project is exempt under the California Environmental Quality Act. And please let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much for all of you for the presentation. I know there's no public comment. So it's to the body for questions. Councilmember Hamilton.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I only have one question. What is our current approximate adoption rate for folks using the current mobile solutions? Like what percent of our parkers are using the web-based T2 solution?
I do not know that answer, but I can get it to you.
Okay. I'm assuming it's substantially less than 50%. I remember remembering it from previous ones. I didn't want to guess.
Thank
But can we at least say it's substantially less than 50%?
I would assume yes.
Yes, thank you.
But I'll get the number back to you.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For first-time user on site, how can they use the app? Is there a QR code on the screen for the T2, K2?
Yeah, we have an option to, our standard signage will include a QR code, as well as a text to park feature. So texting the number 775, something like that. Both of those will direct you to our online checkout. So not forcing somebody necessarily to download an app. They're able to use their existing account online if they go through that method. But of course, we find if somebody's already got the app downloaded and their credentials are already set, they've got their license plate already in there, they'll more than likely use the app. But a first-time user will have the option for all three of those.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Thank you. So for the first-time user on site, if they don't have the information posted on T2 on the machine, then how can they use the mobile app, their phone to download the app? I can see it online. I actually just downloaded it. I don't have my I think so. That's my first curiosity. How is the Park Mobile integrated to T2? You mentioned earlier that it's the part we have a different system, which is to enter the license plate. But I guess the first thing that when you upload the app is to enter the license plate.
So the signage will provide, and I don't know if we could pull it up again on the slide, but the signage will show the three options. It'll say go to the Apple Store or the Google Store to download the app. And then there's also the QR and the text feature. See if I can, that might help. So, but the sign would be, there would be decals posted on the pay stations. And that's what would let the parkers know that it's also available, as well as signage through the streets as well. There's an example of just what our standard one looks like. We'd happy to work out a different format. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilmember Salazar.
So as we roll out this this new system, the old one will remain in place. They'll be both available as we transition, or is there like a hard stop where we stop doing the old license plate method for payment?
The Park Mobile still, I think, will use license plate, right? We will phase out the T2 mobile pay as part of this process or implementation, but yeah, Park Mobile will still use, like I said, license plate number.
Yeah, so my concern would be that, people are already in the habit of doing one thing, and then we're introducing another one. And so rather than just pull the rug out from under them, it'd be nice if there was at least a transition period where until people figure out this new way, which I think is a much better way and will definitely be a lot stickier because it stores your data. But sometimes those old habits are hard to break, and people may not know. And so what I want to make sure is that we're not stopping it the other method,
Yeah.
like, hard stop and then doing a switch over. So I want the transition to be smooth.
Okay.
It might be an interesting question. The number of transactions that are done currently might be quite low, just a thought. Yeah.
So just to add, Matt Lee, Public Works Director, I think that's a really interesting point. Fortunate for us, Park Mobile is really trying to drive adoption rates to 70%. So they will use their robust marketing to make sure we transition appropriately, because what they're really trying to protect is the brand of Park Mobile and not just roll out. They want to make this seamless, right? Because it's about the user experience. And so really that's what they're trying to work through. The app itself is not to take over the kiosk. The kiosk will still be there for people that want to pay with credit card and coins. But Park Mobile truly believes that this is a more user-friendly experience once you get through the initial process of setting up and going through the app. Now, for those that choose not to have the app, they want to pay through a mobile process. We believe that Park Mobile has that option that is just as functional, if not more functional, than the current T2 web app.
Yeah, and I agree that this is a much better solution. Again, my concern is just that I think where we've struggled through this whole program is that we've made assumptions about what people are willing to accept, how quickly they can accept it. And so just so that we don't get another wave of complaints like we had in the beginning, I think we need to look at all of these little, and I agree that the adoption rate currently is very low. Most people are just paying with a card at the kiosk rather than using that app, and it's because it's not very user friendly. But some people are using it. I think the last time we saw the numbers, there's a good little chunk of people that are doing that, and I'd like to see that number grow. I've got the app. I've used it before in other cities, so I think it's great. So I just want to make sure that we're keeping the kid gloves on and making sure that we're doing a white glove handoff with our users.
Yeah, if we're going to use analogies, I think Park Mobile is probably not their first barbecue. So I think they're used to kind of even rolling out in San Francisco in the next month. And even in our neighboring city with South San Francisco, I think they kind of are familiar with the area and the customer use space. And so they're going to try to roll out as user friendly of an app as possible and not just kind of go out there. And I think they've been through, maybe Kat, you can talk through ones where you guys have rolled out Park Mobile in other spaces that may have used T2 web app based stuff, and you've supplemented now with the Park Mobile app and how that maybe has been going.
Yeah, definitely have experience in general with taking over from another provider. So yeah, I'll share a little bit with what we're doing with San Francisco right now. Pay by phone has been the incumbent for 12 years. And so San Francisco is well aware that there will be, a little bit of a painful stage of getting those users over to using Park Mobile. I am not recommending you take a year, but they're going to take a year. That is they're going to slowly have us side by side with Pay by Phone as they basically launch everyone over. So we're used to taking it slow and happy to do that. We could place signage, perhaps we were just at Starbucks before coming over here, and I believe that there's a decal on one side of the pay station, but perhaps not on the other. There's ways that we could have both signs in conjunction while we slowly steal those users.
Okay. And one other thing that's probably more of a feature request than
Yeah.
anything else, but since I have you here,
Yeah.
I noticed when you go to a map, all the little blocks,
Yes.
that they're all the same. And I was wondering if there was a way to maybe color code them or distinguish them somehow based on the type of parking, because it would be nice if we could show our users which ones are lots versus streets, because that's where we have a different pricing model.
Yeah.
I was looking at South San Francisco, and until you actually click on one and go to pay, it won't show you that there's a limit on the number of hours. And I think another issue we've had is when people come to visit, they don't realize that we have a 2-hour limit on the streets, but not on the lots. And so if we could somehow color code or drive people toward the longer term parking visually from, from the beginning, it would be really helpful. I don't know how easy that would be to do, but just a suggestion.
I'm grateful you asked that because we just launched it last month. We have the ability, and I could show you afterwards, or I could send in an email. It was on one of the slides as well. Not that I feel bad making you pull anything up again, but it's worth showing. Awesome. Apologies. Thank you. So, and these are lessons learned from our European counterparts. So this first example there shows that one side of the road is different than the other. So we've visualized that and differentiated it. We have other examples too where we can actually break it up if there is a loading zone in between. So they have that visual as well. And then we also have the ability for off-street locations to polygon those into the exact shape of the lot, which is quite helpful. And if you look at the bottom of the first snapshot, it does provide the information as well. So while you're perhaps looking at different cities at the moment, they probably just haven't set it up yet since it is a newer user face. So we anticipate everybody taking advantage of that, but the cities just have to work with their account manager and set it up that way because it's probably about a month new, right?
Okay.
So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great.
Vice Mayor.
Yes, thank you very much. So I'm going to ask a couple questions that I'm anticipating coming from the public, right? So we all know in this room that we've had problems and we're working through them and trying to find better solutions. So the first thing that's going to come to mind is, so how much is it going to cost me now? Is this going to be more expensive than T2? So being prepared to provide that answer, I'm not sure at this moment because I don't have that memorized. I thought, well, I didn't know that this was going to replace the T2 app. It sounded earlier that we were looking for alternatives, but it's great if it's going to replace it. It's be more efficient and it's not going to cost our parking public more. So that's the first question. Is this going to be cheaper than what the other options are? So maybe we could start there.
So I'll take that answer. So I think what you're asking for is, can we pull up that slide? Maybe it might make sense to just leave the slide deck up and then we can jump in between slides. There's a cost there that talks about kind of what the cost is to the user and then what the city receives. I think what you're asking for is, what is the cost if it was just the kiosks and or the T2 kiosks and stuff. I think Anna can talk to those prices, but it will be a little more through the Park mobile app for certain situations, I believe, right? In terms of what the individual costs are. Maybe you can talk to that let's just focus first on the 1 hour on-street parking and then the 2 hour off-street.
With all parking sessions, the user would pay a 30-cent transaction fee more than whatever the current cost is.
Even with the T2 kiosks.
Oh, no, with Park Mobile.
Yeah, but they're asking for the T2 kiosks, what would the user see if they paid?
Oh, like 150 versus 180?
Yes.
Yeah, so 150 at the T2 kiosk would be 180 on Park Mobile for the same parking session.
Right. Somebody paying a credit card for that. So somebody paying with their credit card at the kiosk is going to be a certain rate. Somebody that pays, which I don't know yet. So if you had that, that would be great. Because I could totally get our public saying, so you went to this and now it's going to cost more. I don't know what the costs are going to be.
I think what
I understand this part, totally got this part. This is using Park Mobile. It shows how much the city's getting if the user's going through Park Mobile.
So if you look at the green box, the $1.50 is on the left is what I believe the customer is going to pay when they use the T-Mobile kiosk. So if you use Park Mobile, that's the middle row within, it says 180, which is what you would pay if you were going to use that same on-street parking through the Park Mobile app. So the delta, I believe, would be approximately 30 cents more.
Can I ask a little clarification? So today, if I were to go downtown and park and I stick my credit card in the machine, I pay the actual cost because the city picks up the credit card transaction. If I choose to use the website that's on the QR code and pay through that for my parking rather than using a credit card in the machine, there's also a bump. And I think what the vice mayor is asking is, what is that current bump and how does that compare to this bump?
Thank you. And if we don't know right now, right. But maybe I can go to some other questions so that as we're trying to get that, so that I don't know if we don't need, I don't suppose we need to recess, but so you mentioned other languages, and in the presentation, it seemed like there was more than just Spanish. Is Chinese available on the phone?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So there's bilingual when you call.
It's bilingual when you call, and our live chat support, so calling in if you had a question, is in English or Spanish. The app itself will translate to whatever language your phone is already set to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, because we don't have that now. So there's one reason why this seems to be a little bit better than we've had before.
Yes.
The dashboard that you referred to,
yes.
I believe our current Iris software system, it's on a computer.
Cloud-based.
But you're cloud-based, so it's not set on one computer. It can anybody could go in there and log in and take a look at the dashboard. So
Unlimited, I'll elaborate on it, unlimited amount of access. So you could have also different categories. So if you have people that need to go in to run specific reports that don't have anything to do with financials, you can limit their access so they don't see the financials. Different access types within the dashboard as well.
check the box, ding, ding, good job.
Good.
So the signage, since just make sure it's not too cluttered with the signage, and just kind of thinking that through. I heard you mention that it could be put perhaps on the kiosk itself, maybe on the side, but just wanted to make sure we didn't have too much clutter downtown, with all these signs. I do have a concern about the QR codes. We've heard from a couple residents of the fraud that could be used by somebody putting that other sticker. So just wanted to note that, and that to make a recommendation of going into the stores and making sure that that information is readily available so you can sign on with the QR code, and maybe even suggesting that the shop owners have a little card to hand out to the customers to let them know, hey, here's another option. Hopefully it's saving them a little bit of money. I'm not sure yet. We're gonna find that out. But those are my questions for now. I am also concerned about when we go live, and then at some certain point, I'm thinking that it would be great to have you come back before you go live to kind of let us know, like, this is what you've done. You've tested the system, because I think we should be learning from our mistakes, and it didn't go well last time. So this is a very sore subject for our community. We're doing our best to make these improvements, and having a clear testing schedule to work out the kinks, and then having a better grasp for myself as a council member that represents our downtown, to be able to confidently say, when this goes live, we are in way better shape than we ever have been. and to coordinate the enforcement side, because there's going to be some people that are likely going to be like, hey, I tried this. Oh, I didn't know I needed to do that. And so that there's like some type of acknowledgement and pivoting from our enforcement to make sure like there's some leniency during a certain time period. But those are my concerns, and I just want to make sure that we don't stumble out of the gate again.
Understood. I should have written it down and gone in order. The first item you mentioned was the signage not being cluttered. Absolutely a good point. We have worked with T2 in a lot of instances. We work with a lot of pay station manufacturers, that's the truth. And we have templates actually created that are the exact mapped out shape of the curve of the, of one part of the face of the machine. So we have those already in place, ready. We'll definitely send lots of examples of those over. Pardon me, the second one I forget now.
Sorry, you took care of the language.
Yes.
You answered the computer.
Oh, computer, yeah.
The dashboard.
Yeah.
You answered the street signage,
Yeah.
QR codes.
Yes, the QR code. So, yeah, it's, you know what, we understand that. It's the way we talk about it is really, since COVID, QR codes are very recognizable. It's a very recognizable process for all age ranges as well. So we do encourage using it, but it's absolutely a business decision, a city decision if you want to provide them. We recommend for the cities that are including them, you have to have your enforcement officers or city staff checking them regularly, right? Running your thumb across. We have it where we have our Park Mobile logo in the center. So that's kind of a good visual identifier as you're going down the street. But we have the ability to definitely remove that from the signs. And we have that text feature that would send you to the Park Mobile website as well. So definitely acknowledge that it's a city decision if you want to include it. We would love to come back before the deployment. I'm in Vancouver, so please give me a reason to come back again any moment. And
I asked about the marketing.
Yeah.
It sounds great, but it's, seeing it on a screen and then actually seeing it deployed, like you're going to be on our social media, you're going to be, I think the handouts would be very helpful
yes,
in
thank you
different
for saying that.
languages to make sure that people are aware of it,
Yeah.
so that they can be handed out to the shoppers, and then making sure that the way to sign up is also like right at the desk or when you're checking out. So it's like, oh, right there, click.
We have know how to pay cards. So those are set already, easy little cards to be able to hand out from the shops. We also have the ability, I'll throw out there, to, and I believe we're one of the few, to accept a validation mid-session. So if somebody did pay for parking on street and perhaps a store wanted to incentivize them or provide part of their parking, they're able to actually take that code once they've already made their transaction. So that's sometimes a good thing to get the business districts involved in.
So that's a validation system.
Validation system, yeah.
I didn't hear that in the presentation, but that's really cool because I've heard from some stores that are like, I'd be willing to validate for them coming into my store. It's just making sure that's going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think my questions have been asked. I'm just waiting to see the right time to see how we can have staff have you back before we launch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Please. So I have one follow-up question in regards to the marketing. and I'm trying to figure out in my head if this is scope creep or not. And that is, we're going to be doing marketing. We're going to be doing marketing about parking in our downtown.
Yeah.
One area where the public still, even after over a year of having paid parking, many people just don't understand that it's cheaper in the lots. And that we have different timing in the lots as well. So I was in a conversation with someone at an event. She was telling me how she loves coming to the restaurants downtown, and sometimes it's really hard to find a space to park after 6 when she's coming down for dinner. And I'm like, we have lots.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The lots are free after 6. No. And I've had that conversation again and again and again. So can we, since we're going to be doing this marketing, can we also include information about the various options that, Councilmember Salazar pointed out, showing people in the app that it's cheaper, but just if we're doing these marketing efforts, a little more broadly teaching
Yeah.
people that we have the lots are cheaper.
Yeah.
The lots are free after 6, all these really important things that we really haven't done a good job of communicating.
Yeah, I could see maybe utilizing those pop-ups within the app to push that information, especially not that you want to move. I might be overthinking this. If somebody pays on street for 2 hours, perhaps you drive that message after they've completed it. It says, did you know we have off-street parking between this street and this street for the next time at lower rates? I could see that working. You guys are definitely doing the right model of having higher prices on street so that it drives your parkers to the off-street lots. But you're right, it's a tough thing to get people to walk a little bit further. But I would see the in-app messaging pop-ups as a solution for that.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Director Lee. Okay, final question?
Yeah.
Please.
Final question. I saw in the presentation the payment card option. Is that something where the city could, or is that somebody could make a payment card for those that have issues with, no, who can issue a payment card? Can the city issue a payment card? The merchant can issue a payment card. So where
You're talking about the preloaded
green dot.
Yeah, so those are like a Visa gift card is kind of what that's what those are. So those would be purchased on their own from like a CVS or.
Okay, so
and then they're loaded in a store.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank you.
Director.
And just to follow up, we don't have the actual cost itself for the credit card pass-through fee, but the Park mobile app will be a higher charge than if you're just paying through the kiosk and for the credit card pass-through fee, because the Park mobile app itself has a breakdown of not just the credit card pass-through fee, but there's I believe it's called an app transaction fee that's included in there, and it's to kind of fund all the amenities and stuff that the app provides.
Okay, thank you for answering all the questions. Bring it to council for any other final discussion and or action. This is a resolution.
Through the chair, I'll make the motion to approve the resolution.
Thank you.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt the resolution as read by the city clerk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously, 5-0. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for answering the questions, and thank you for the presentation. With that, that'll conclude our conduct of business. Let's move on to item 8, council committee report outs. Do we have any? Mr. Hamilton.
So last week I attended the League of California Cities conference along with Vice Mayor Medina. And as usual, a very informative and rewarding trip. We learned about went to a whole bunch of different sessions and learned about reducing the cost and burden of doing a general plan update, which was very timely because that's something that we'll be looking at here in San Bruno in the next few years. We talked about how to centralize communication within a city. Talked about how to different tools in the toolbox for dealing with bad financial situations, and which was an interesting discussion since we, in the examples that were provided, we've seen all of those tools used here. Timely for the item we just had, we attended a session on effective parking management, and really did validate, as our Park Mobile partners just said, validated the design of our program, because in that session they were really stressing that you have to make the street parking a premium and drive people into your lots. So you know, we had a few missteps in our rollout, but the design of our program was sound. So it was nice to see that. And then we had a meeting of the Peninsula Division. Over 100 people, council members from our Peninsula Division were together for that. So it was a very rewarding experience, and I was glad to represent San Bruno.
Sorry,
Vice Mayor.
Just wanted to add a couple of other things that we were able to attend at the conference. We were able to attend the ethics, laws, and principle training, harassment prevention training for officials. These are state required training, so it's nice to get those done and completed and updated. And as voting delegate, representing San Bruno, there was no action taken on this conference, so nothing to report there. So
that makes it easy. No debate, no worry. Everybody's good.
It would have been interesting to see what they came up with, but so be it.
Okay. For myself, just real quick, do want to thank staff again. We had the Council of Cities. City of San Bruno hosted here at the Recreation Aquatic Center. Want to thank the department heads for being there, and Lapita and Jennifer Lever for all of their work and help. The Vice Mayor and I held the joint meeting with two San Bruno Park School District board members and with the superintendent, as well as the city manager. And then on ALS JPA Management Committee, we will be having some bid packages going out to consolidate rather than dealing with two agencies on particular equipment, to go through a better process. So those are some items. So with that, let's go on to comments from council members. Oh, Vice Mayor.
Two, since we're not going to have a council meeting later on this month, everybody would otherwise miss the announcement of Second Harvest. It will be on October 22nd. It's the fourth Wednesday of each month at Bel Air School. If you or anybody that you know needs food, please come between the hours of 1 and 4. It's a walkthrough process. You park your car, or you could park in the people from the neighborhood show up, and you get what you like. And if you would like to volunteer, it's a great way to serve our community. The second announcement is a San Bruno Lions event that's going to be held at St. Robert's Hennessy Hall. It's a pasta and bingo fundraiser. It's Saturday, October 25th from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It's a $40 dinner with bingo. So I'm encouraging everybody to attend. I will be happy to serve you spaghetti and call out your bingo number if you'd like. So thank you very much.
There being no others, for myself, I'll try to make it brief, but on October 6th, there was a webinar for pipeline safety. It's an organization that became very well known after the incident that they've had in the country. So we were asked, and former Mayor Wayne was a panelist, a vice president of PG&E, one of the former NTSB staff persons that actually did the investigation here of the explosion in the pipe, and myself. And so that webinar was carried via Zoom. Appreciate that this agency wanted to remember as we came across the 15 years, and it was all around San Bruno, the 15 years of remembrance and what it was like from that night, what it was like subsequent, what we thought we had done to try to assist in the PUC and the PG&E and the regulatory system that was flawed and obviously needed better checks and balances. So I appreciate that. With that, there being no others, before we adjourn, I would like to adjourn this meeting in memory and in honor of one of our long serving since 2018, serving on the Preparedness Committee. On Monday, October 6th, we had learned that Janet Ludis, a longtime San Bruno resident and community supporter of emergency preparedness, had passed away. Her daughter had written to the San Bruno Fire Department to let them know that Janet had passed away after a brief illness and didn't suffer. But knowing the dedication that Janet held to the city's Emergency Preparedness Committee, Janet made it clear to her daughter that she had to let us know she wouldn't be making it to our next meeting and her continued contribution. That was the beauty of Janet. If she believed something needed to be done, there would be no excuses. She would always say, quit your belly aching and get it done. Maybe her career with United Airlines for many years might explain it. She worked repairing aircraft radios, and the work called for skill and precision. And once that was part of her core, you don't change. She was proud to be an advanced ham radio operator license holder and was proud of mastering CW or Morse code, and she didn't want to lose that achievement. One of her biggest thrills was making radio contact with a Christian family member on Pitcairn Island, which is in the South Pacific Ocean, midway between New Zealand and mainland South America. We're thankful for the many times she conducted the Monday night hand radio net, standing in just the right spot of her patio to transmit and receive radio communications. Last year, the San Bruno Amateur Radio Club made her their first lifetime member because she was always willing to be there for the ham group, CERT, and the city's Emergency Preparedness Committee. Now it is our turn to think of all the good times she was here for us and consider sharing her knowledge and the love for the radio with who those just starting out. And I want to thank Ari, Chief, for your assistance in this and communicating with the family. Please keep her and her family in your prayers. And don't forget to have your go bag ready. We're now kind of probably call them the Janet go bags. And the picture here is with retired Battalion Chief Scott Walvogel, who ran our CERT program before he retired. And that is where she would be most proud, is working together with the fire department. And I did call Scott, and he was saddened by the news. But again, thank God that she's blessed our city and our programs, and she has truly made a difference in this community that will hold dear in our hearts forever. With that, we'll have a moment of silence in honor of Janet. Thank you, Council. With that, the next regular City Council meeting will be held on Wednesday, November the 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.